All right. So where does the Pac-12 go from here? If you have not been paying attention, I have. Okay. That's one thing I can guarantee to you.
It's the classic paying attention so you don't have to.
Exactly.
Or listening so you don't have to.
You don't have to pay attention to all the odds and ends. I have consumed all of the content in the free world. Here's the update. The Pac-12 has 7 schools committed. They had 6 after the block of 4 schools from the Mountain West: San Diego State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Boise State. They added Utah State, but they need 8 to be an FBS conference eligible for the college football playoff. Mountain West, by the way, is down to 6, plus Hawaii, but whatever. So we learned last week, or was it earlier this week, Jim? I forget, that Memphis and other schools in the American Conference basically said thanks, but no thanks. That's what we were led to believe, right? They pursued some of the schools out east, and it didn't come to fruition. Well, today, the Memphis AD, Ed Scott, had a press conference talking about Memphis's decision not to go to the Pac-12 and, at least for the time being, remain in the American Conference. So has Memphis turned down the Pac-12 for good or not? Here was Ed Scott, Memphis AD, earlier today.
A lot of folks, and some of you in the media, is that a lot of folks, and some of you in the media, candidly, want us to go to be great. And sometimes you got to be great to go. Right. And so when I hear people say, I'm not going to buy tickets, I'm not going to support the programs, you're not really hurting me. You're hurting the student athletes. Right. And you're hurting the people that are on the field playing. And that's really, really important for me. So where does this go? If y'all haven't seen the latest reports of what's going on between the Mountain West and the Pac-6, 7 right now, this is a fluid situation. Right. So that's the other thing. When we talk about the decision that was made by the University of Memphis to not join the Pac, as I like to call them right now at this time, that was not a binary decision. That was not a no, we're not ever going anywhere. That was based on the offer that was presented in front of us, that we're not taking that offer because we don't think less of ourselves. And I came here for a reason. You heard me in the press conference. You've heard me in any interview I've done. I'm bullish on Memphis's future. And so I think sometimes we get enamored by the new and we want to take a bad deal. And that deal was not a good deal for the University of Memphis. It certainly wasn't a good deal for our athletic department. And most importantly, it was a really, really bad deal for our Olympic sports.
So does that mean they're staying in the American? Then there was a press release to the American, oh, we're united. So are they united? Or are they staying there because it wasn't a good enough deal? And is this basically a bargaining chip to get back to the table and say, hey, publicly, we didn't think it was a good deal. If it's a better deal, maybe we would have had more interest.
Hey, you know how it becomes a better deal? And everything he just says there completely flips on its head.
Money. Right. That's what it seems like.
So let me get this right here.
Mm-hmm.
So the exit fee for the AAC schools was 25 mil?
Reportedly.
And the Pac-12 would have only paid for 2.5 mil of that.
10%. That's exactly right.
Okay.
He confirmed that today. That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, that's not a great deal. Like I agree
there's
with
some
him.
risk in there. Yeah,
There's a lot of risk in
absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So here's what the Pac-12 needs to do.
Up the ante.
And this is all part of negotiation. Like you start at one point. You don't give that person everything all at once. You start at a point and see what they say. See how they react. If they take it, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, I think you should probably expect that. Maybe the Pac-12 didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Right.
But you started at, here's our first offer. Here's what we have on the table. And clearly, from hearing Memphis AD and seeing how quickly every school in the AAC turned that down, it was a bad deal. So now, as a conference, the Pac-12, needing at least one more school for football, you need to realize, okay, we got to probably up our ante here. We got to make a better deal. And how can we do that? And then have conversations with Memphis again and Tulane or whoever, right? Because I don't feel like their intention, the Pac-12 at least, was when they took San Diego State, Boise, Colorado State, and Fresno State was to like kill the Mountain West, because the Mountain West still had 8 teams in it.
Right. You're saying that they were hoping to also secure commitments from the other group of 5 players, so to speak. The Memphises, the Tulanes, put them all together.
And after they couldn't get Memphis or Tulane, they went
back.
And they pivoted back. And they said, okay, well, sorry, business is business.
Mm-hmm.
UNLV, Utah State, come on down, right? But initially, this was never. I don't feel like this was initially to just kill the Mountain West Conference.
So
do you think that was the case?
No, I think here's my 2 cents on it. I mean, I haven't been briefed on the situation, but I've read everything that's ever been written on it. My sense was, we were at the press conference, Jim. My sense was, when San Diego State announced it, that the goal was to create a best of the rest conference, right? By the way, I think this narrative out there that, oh, the Mountain West is the same as the Pac-12 and the AAC is the same. No, it's not. When the day the news broke that the 4 schools from the Mountain West, the top of the Mountain West, went to join Washington State and Oregon State, that day, that became the best group of 5 league, bar none, plain and simple. There's no dead weight in there. So it's the best group of 5 league. It just needs to be finished off. But my sense was they wanted the best of the rest. In order to do that, to your point, they may have to go back to the Memphises and the Tulanes and up the ante. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Is this a public negotiation that's playing out? It sure does sound like it. How can you hear that AD from Memphis say that and think that this is fully over and done with? That's not what I heard. When I heard him speak, it sounded to me like,
make a better
let's
offer.
get back to the table, but this time, what can you do to push us over the line?
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing for me, is his speech started one way, because when you start with
To go to be great, and sometimes you got to be great to go.
I'm thinking, oh, okay, so you're saying, look,
You're not ready.
we're flattered, but we don't think we're ready, and we're not going to just go in and be lambs to the slaughter. And then for the rest of the 90 seconds, then it's all about money, 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 money. But yeah, it started out as where, oh, well, you know, we appreciate it, but we just don't think we're ready. We're going to stay where we're at.
And for a school like Memphis, $25 million is probably a lot.
I'm sure it is.
They aren't Cal, they aren't Stanford, where they could, afford to travel cross country for their Olympic sports. And Memphis, like he said there, it's not a good deal for Olympic sports. Well, it's not a good deal because you don't have enough money to, I feel comfortable enough with having the travel that is needed now if you would join the new Pac-12.
I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. And I don't know if it's something that's going to play out over 24, 48, 72 hours, or if this is going to go on for weeks and months, because the league doesn't actually start again until 2026. So do they have time or not? We shall see.